Thank you for browsing page 121. Today we're going to jump into the player's handbook and go not so deep to the first level cleric spells. We're going to take a look at the cleric spell command. This one caused a lot of discussions at our table back in the day, and I'm going to go through a few of the reasons. So it's an enchantment or a charm. Level 1, range is 10 feet, duration is 1 round, area of effect is 1 creature. Verbal component only, no holy symbol needed. 1 segment casting time, and save is special. This spell enables the cleric to issue a command of a single word. The command must be uttered in language which the spell recipient is able to understand. The individual will obey to the best of his, her, its ability, only so long as the command is absolutely clear and unequivocal. Suicide would be a noun, so the creature would ignore the command. A command to die would cause the recipient to fall into a faint or cataleptic state for 1 round, but thereafter the creature would be alive and well. Typical command words are back, halt, flee, run, stop, fall, fly, go, leave, surrender, sleep, rest, etc. Undead are not affected by a command. Creatures with intelligence of 13 or more and creatures with 6 or more hit dice or experience levels are entitled to a saving throw versus magic. Creatures with 13 or higher intelligence and 6 hit dice do not get 2 saving throws. Okay, so it seems pretty straightforward, but it gets a little in the mix. It gets a little confusing. So you give one creature one command based on one word in a 1 segment casting of a first level spell. It's hard to get more 1 than this spell, and it gives you some examples of what you can use. And each of these effects, so if you yell halt, for instance, or run, or stop, each lasts for 1 full round. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. So while we were playing, I was playing a cleric. This was a long, long time ago. This would have been back in the early 80s. I was playing a cleric, and I had my command spell, and I knew that the creature, it was just I think it was a null, did not have greater than 13 intelligence and did not have 6 or more hit dice. So I thought, okay, perfect. So I used the command that I thought was rather clever, and I said, okay, my command is inhale. And my DM said, okay, he inhales once and then he attacks you. And I said, well, wait a minute. It's supposed to be a 1 round area of effect. He says, yeah, but inhale, it's a short thing, so no. So big discussion ensued. That day, it stayed with the DM's ruling, his table, his ruling. But after that game, we went ahead and we discussed it as a group at one of the future games as to what exactly would happen. And we agreed as a group that actually, because there is a 1 round duration, that inhale would be, he would have to just inhale for 1 full round. That's actually pretty devastating. Just for grins, try it sometime. I've never made it past about 15 seconds. So inhale is one of my personal favorites to use for a command, and I do feel it runs for the entire 1 round. So he would just be drawing in breath for 1 full round. And then, of course, there's the opposite of that one, exhale, which is also fun because either one, there's a good chance this creature is probably going to black out a little bit or at least be dizzy and out of sorts a little bit for the round after the effect. There's nothing in the spell that says there's any lingering effect or anything, but as a DM at my table, when somebody does use this spell this way, I actually do give a round or so where the creature has to take a hit to their, a modifier to their initiative, a negative modifier, because they are so temporarily disabled by the inhale, the exhale, anything like that. There are plenty of other things you can use. You've seen the famous eat. The problem becomes with something like a null that eats people, what we consider to be people, that you could have a problem with the null just deciding to chow down on the spellcaster, and that would be something. But undress is another one that was actually going around our table for a while, because you have this person, the target of the spell, going ahead and disrobing while they're trying to fight, and then after the full round, and you get pretty far in disrobing in full round. It's especially funny, by the way, to do a low level character that's wearing plate armor, because you see them trying to work the plate armor off, and they won't be able to get the plate armor off and around, but they absolutely will be able to take off enough that it's going to be a problem for their mobility for the next round or two. It says here that undead are not affected by it. Well, that's because it's an enchantment charm. Again, this book was written in 1978, before the Dungeon Master's Guide, but after the Monster Manual. So some of the stuff in here isn't always exactly in line with what became the rules later, but that's why undead are immune to enchantment or charm. And I would give saving throws, of course, to anything that had a good high wisdom. They would get saving throw bonuses. Dwarves would get a great saving throw, all assuming that they're 13 intelligence higher or 6 hit dice or greater. So the language too. The language is a situation. We've had a couple of uses where there was one tribe of kind of cavemen humans that had been contacted by the group, and one of the players used a command to stop one of them that was attacking, and use the exhale thing. And we had already established that there was a language barrier between these humans and the party, so he didn't know what the word meant. Therefore, I ruled that the spell failed. And actually, that was one of the things I thought might happen when I put the whole language barrier in there. Language barriers can be just so much fun in any kind of role-playing game. But in this case, it actually made the spell not work because he had to understand the spell itself. So that's it. Suicide, by the way, I realize maybe in the late 70s, I don't truly remember if suicide couldn't have been a verb. But suicide now, I do consider that a verb. But that's one I kind of just go with the book and say, well, don't use that one, use something else. They give you plenty of examples here. I've given a couple in this video. And it's a pretty good spell. The only thing with this spell is it starts not being usable once you hit around 4th or 5th level, because most of the opponents you're going to be dealing with are going to be 6 hit dice or higher, or have high intelligence, or in a lot of cases both. And I don't, by the way, give a modifier of any kind to a creature that has a 13 intelligence and 6 or more hit dice. They don't get 2 saving throws, nor do I give them any kind of bonus. But when you get up into those levels anyway, opponents are going to make their saving throws on a fairly regular basis. Once you get up into the higher charts, and then throw in any kind of bonuses to that, if they have a ring of protection on, or like I said, a dwarf, then they're going to go ahead and they're going to be able to resist this spell much better anyway. But there you go, just a quick look at an innocuous little first level spell. It's one of the ones that low level clerics keep in their arsenal, at least at my table, and I do recommend it. Let me know how you've had some rulings on command, if you've had to make some adjudications that are maybe a little more interesting or a little different. Some other commands you guys have used, let me know. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please leave any comments, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, tell your friends, and please take a look at the Patreon, see if you can help me out there. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time on page 121.